and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by the Drewseum.com.
I'm Ashley,
And I'm Anne.
and thanks for tuning in to our second episode. Hey,
Woohoo!
it's a big deal. We came back.
We're here. We didn't, just totally give up after episode 1.
Tempting. No, just kidding. It's been a lot of
This
fun.
might be our last.
No.
This might be our last.
We have too many topics to cover. So speaking of
Especially
topics,
about 1998.
yes. So this will be our follow-up to our first episode where we talk about the second half of 1998 because it's just too much to get into one episode because we have to talk about the release of Ever After and Home Fries. So again, Drew everywhere, 1998.
Yep.
So we did want to do some follow-ups from last episode and also what we're going to be calling oopsie daisies, which are maybe little mistakes that we made in the episode or things that we got wrong, or I don't know. That pretty much sums that up, right?
Yeah, clarifying mistakes,
yeah,
whatever it is. And we already have a couple, y'all.
Well, firstly, we just want to say thank you to everybody who supported the first episode. It's been really fun to see all of your comments and know that people are listening. We just wanted to remind you that you can send in emails to us at howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com because we are going to be featuring listener mail. You can tell us what topics you'd like to see us cover. We have not decided what the next one will be, right?
Nope.
Okay.
We haven't.
Open to suggestions. And one more reminder is that if you go to our website, howdoyoudrew.com, there is a page for every episode. And in there, we have a really extensive gallery of photos that correspond to everything we talked about.
Yep. And thank you to Ashley for pulling those all together.
Sure. I think there's like 25 pictures from the last episode. Like I just kept, as I was listening back to it, I was like, we got to include something from that, from this. Yep.
We want to make sure that whether you were there or not in 1998 as a Drew fan, that you can kind of get a sense of what we're talking about.
Yeah. Or if something's like, you're like, I kind of remember that. What is that again? Go look. The photo's there. We just did that with our friend Jolena. Hi, shout out to Jolena again.
Woohoo! I'm going to go ahead and say apologize for the kind of glitchy sounds in our audio. So just so everybody knows, we're recording from separate sides of the country. I'm in Maine, so I'm on the East Coast, and Ashley is in Nevada, so closer to the West Coast. So we're, doing this remotely. So it provides some kind of challenge for us, and we're figuring it out. So thanks for your patience with us getting the sound all pretty for you.
Yeah, we're trying I have a little more stable internet, so I'm recording this time, and we'll see if that makes a difference. If not,
crossing our fingers.
Just bear with us. We'll get there. We're still new at this, you guys.
We're getting there. And I'm going to go ahead and just admit something that I didn't realize.
I already know it's coming.
So teen people, I kind of maybe talked a little crap about teen people accidentally. I had never really thought, or maybe I haven't thought for 20 years about the fact that Teen People is the teen version of People magazine. So they do, in fact, have a justified reason to have great photo shoots. I'm sorry.
They have resources.
Yes. I'm sorry, Teen People.
Past tense.
Either way, the oopsie is just that I was like thinking of Teen People as like Teen Bop,
or like Twist. Remember that really crappy teen magazine?
God. So Teen People is a higher caliber of teen mags, turns out. Still, it still is surprising that it had such a great photo shoot. Just when you think of something like that caliber of that Teen People shoot from 1998 feels like something that would have been in Us magazine.
Like a major publication.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to point out.
You're brave to admit that you never made that connection.
Even though it was the like subtitle on the magazine.
And they had the same logo.
It's
okay. You were like 14. Cut yourself some slack.
Okay. Okay.
And then a mistake I made when we were talking about the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, I was like, I bet that was like the first year that ever happened in 1998. Well, I went and looked, and I guess it had existed since the late 80s. Is that surprising to you?
I never would have thought.
And it still exists, by the way. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was wrong about that. I'm sure there's some Nickelodeon fans who were up in arms when they heard me say that.
Yeah, so there's a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award legacy that we must
essentially
honor. Yes.
That orange blimp. And then, okay, so I put this in the notes, but I didn't explain it to you. I found out something pretty interesting. So we were talking a lot about Detour magazine, right? Yeah. And I was trying to find out when it went out of business, which was very difficult to find. I did find an article in like 2001 that they were basically like going broke and we're down to a couple issues a year. So that's about when it was. But as I was researching it, I found out that one of the co-founders of Detour left and started Flaunt magazine, which totally makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
I know. So I thought that was kind of a cool little tidbit.
That's super cool. And I can't wait to talk about episodes of Flaunt. Let me try that again. I can't wait to talk about issues of Flaunt that feature Drew.
She was in the second ever issue of Flaunt, just like Teen People. Isn't that crazy?
That's great. I've forgotten that too.
Yeah. So
I
anyway,
can picture the cover.
I know.
And love it.
So I thought that was a fun little thing to share.
Cool.
And they're still around, Flaunt, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I went down a rabbit hole.
Turns out I don't know a lot of things. You all are going to find out quickly.
It turns out I have a weird memory and brain that captures random trivia, and it serves no purpose in life, but it will serve me well on this podcast.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And it will serve me as your partner.
That's why we're a good team. Okay, and we do have one last thing to mention, because I think we should like really take the time to give a thank you. You want to say?
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to make sure we thanked our friend Matt Costa for our theme song.
Oh my gosh.
So literally came together kind of last second. We were editing the episode and realized that we didn't have a theme yet.
The night before we put it out.
And Ashley reached out to our old friend who we've been following for over 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
And he replied as I was falling asleep on the East Coast to Ashley on the West Coast.
He replied, "Yeah, I'll do it, LOL."
And then sent our beautiful theme song.
Within 5 minutes, by the way. He sent it so fast. So thank you, Matt.
We're pretty lucky.
Pinching ourselves for real. Okay, so as we mentioned before, we would love to have really a lot of interaction with you guys and include listener mail, which we haven't gotten any yet. This is your reminder to send some. But
you've got mail.
We did get our first review.
Yay! That's so exciting.
So do you want to read it and tell who was nice enough to do this? And by the way, you could all leave reviews if you want to. That would be awesome.
And we just might read it on the podcast.
Yeah, don't make him be the only one to ever leave a review. You could join that trend.
Yeah. So our old Drewbie friend, Chris, who ran a couple fan sites over the years, I think he even hosted Drew Barrymore's site for a little while.
That's accurate.
He left us this really lovely review. So the title of it is Excellent First Episode.
Yeah.
He said, "It's very surreal remembering most of the things you mentioned in the podcast, feeling like they happened yesterday. I also made so many online Drewbie friends over the years, many of whom I met IRL and am still close with today. Drew has indirectly impacted so many lives in such a positive way. I can't imagine how different my life would have been without her being part of it. I love the strong friendship you have as a result of your Drew fandom. Great job. You keep me sitting at my computer listening to the entire thing when I should be sleeping. Looking forward to future episodes.
Oh, so
thanks so much,
kind.
Chris.
Thank you,
Thank you
Chris.
so much.
And by the way, Chris hosts our website, thedrewseum.com and howdoyoudrew.com. So we really appreciate he's always been there to help us with all kinds of technical problems. And we'll get into that actually, because we are going to talk about the history of our website, which we totally forgot to mention in the first episode.
No big deal.
Okay, so the Drewseum, that's our website. We've been, gosh, how many years now? 6.
You're gonna make me do math on the spot?
I think 16, right? Yeah.
16 years.
Oh
yeah, so like almost
gosh.
16 and a half years.
How is that possible? Okay. Wow, that's weirding me out. So in 2005 is when we started thinking about this. And I was watching this show, I guess it was on A&E. I went and looked it up. And it was called The Incurable Collector. And it was just a half-hour show that featured different people who were collectors of various things. And it really inspired me. In fact, I found one episode online, and even just watching the beginning of it, I started getting like, I gotta start going to flea markets again. I gotta start like that feeling. And we had such big collections at that point. I don't know, it just seemed like a logical step to create a website where we could showcase the items in our Drew collections.
And one thing I can say is that, and this is still the case, and I think when Ashley brought this idea up to me, I was thinking, oh, this is a different concept of a fan site, because it's not the type of fan site where you're showing. I mean, we've loved these fan sites over the years. We kind of were raving about, like, we met through these kind of fan communities, but we wanted our website to be a museum of our collections, hence the name, the Drewseum.
Right.
And I don't know, just we wanted this to be something different, and we still we try to make it clear that we wouldn't feature something on the site unless we had it in our collections.
I still don't know that that's clear enough. People still don't quite seem to understand. No, but everything on the site we own.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that's, a little bit difficult is that it is 2 collections, because it's Ashley's collection and my collection, and we just kind of put it all up there. We don't say whose is whose. And I still kind of think of it as our, it's featuring our collection. And we can talk about our future kind of pie in the sky goals about the museum, but we can get into that more once our podcast is wildly popular and we have so many funds coming in and we don't know what to do with them. We can reach these goals. So Ashley, did you want to talk about the origin of the name?
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember this, but it actually was a subconscious reference. Like, we did not purposely say, oh, the Drewseum, because that was used at one point. No, we came up with the Drewseum. I don't remember which one of us. It's just like an obvious pun. And later on, I don't remember how, we discovered that Missy, who we talked about in the first episode, one of her fan sites had a little section called the Drewseum, but it was spelled with a Z instead of an S. And I guess I barely remember, but I think it just featured some of the like unique items in her collection.
Okay. So yeah, I remember us discovering it. I couldn't remember if it was before or after we came up with the name. And I couldn't remember the contents of it. I'm so curious if we can access it via, we have to see if we can access it via the Internet Archive.
Yeah. It was definitely on the blue one, which I think was Until There Was Drew. Maybe Missy can chime in and let us know. And I want to say it was kind of like random movie memorabilia, like maybe that Wedding Singer lipstick that we talked about in the first episode might have been one of the things in there. I don't even think it featured magazines, because that would be like a whole separate thing. But so later on we were like, whoops, we kind of stole that name, but it works, it sticks. Like, Drew's very aware of it. She's mentioned us a couple times on TV, which is very strange and really cool. I still don't believe it. But anyway, so we spent a lot of 2005 scanning and photographing. In fact, the way we used to do things is just so different from how we would now. It's pretty funny to think about.
It's really funny. I think there might still be some things on the site that have our first watermarks, and they're hideous. But you know what? You know,
You know
we
what
can't
else is
do all that
hideous?
work.
Yeah, going back and rescanning everything.
I
We
mean,
didn't even save the scans, the original scans back then. It was like, I mean,
no.
2005, you guys. I don't even know how much space my laptop had.
It was probably like a gig.
My first laptop literally was a gig. Literally, I remember it
Yep.
perfectly. It's so mind blowing.
It's a trip.
But yeah, so we spent a lot of time at my apartment, you remember, and we were just like getting it all ready. And
Yep.
we created the site. I guess we were using true HTML, right?
So I remember kind of doing a really bad back end. But I think we switched over from that relatively quickly. Within a couple of years we switched over to some other form. So yeah, we were
took
not
a while though. No, I don't think it was well, you know what, you're probably right, it probably feels like it was a bunch of years, but yeah, I think you might be right. I take it back.
I don't remember exactly, but yes, I do remember trying to learn how to like put a table inside of a table.
Oh yeah,
like there were all these things and it was like very bare bones. I can picture actually like our coming soon page. It was literally just a graphic.
It was really cute though. We can
I have to look at it again.
We should screenshots.
We should maybe post some of our early designs of the site. One thing I'll just mention, like, so I don't know if you said when we debuted the site, but January 16th of 2006, we debuted the site with our whatever our first design was, and we used to change the
the header
layout like all the time,
like every couple months at the most.
Yes, and it was very stressful. Like it was like we really had to, you know, keep it fresh. And
I don't know why we put that pressure on ourselves. It's like another holiday is coming up. We got to theme the header image to a whole new thing.
Not only that, but also just we were like going pun crazy.
Oh yeah.
On all of the posts.
Yes.
Like anytime we made an update, it like had to have 100 puns or like wordplay.
Yep.
And you know, this, and Ashley has always kind of taken on a lot of the making the posts and putting the things on the site. Like I've done more of like I did the layout, so I was doing the Photoshop.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of things where like Ashley and I maybe together at first were doing the puns.
I think so.
And then
we were kind of like, okay, why are we going over the top trying to be
we should probably post a couple of those too. Like
I don't think
a couple of the first
that
updates
would be pretty hard to find. So part of the history of our website. So originally we're on a certain host. I'm not going to say their name in case they're still in business. I don't want to talk bad, but I don't know how many years went by, but we got hacked. You know, I was just thinking when we started the site, it was strictly to show the collection. And then we kind of realized, hey, you know, we should probably have a little more information about Drew up here. So we wrote a really fun biography that I'm still really proud of. And we need to update. Like, wait a minute, I think it ends in like 2014 or something. But we do have a great biography, which I think holds up. I looked at it not that long ago and I'm like, yeah,
you should probably publish.
Yeah, I mean, there have been books written about Drew that by people who have way less knowledge than we do. I can tell you that.
Yes.
And you know, then we kind of like we made some fun sections like a hairstyle timeline and something we call wardrobe recycle, which shows Drew reusing or re-wearing clothes and accessories over the years, which is really fun. Yeah, we even have a section devoted to locations. So whether they're from her personal life or movie and filming locations and places that we've gone to. So we show our photos and we show like a map of how to get there. We've done a lot.
We have done a lot. It's been a while since we've like done anything new, and this podcast is like a way for us to rejuvenate.
True. Yeah,
like we're rejuvenating our own. Like we're showing, hey, we're still here. We're still the Drewseum. We're still, you know.
Yeah, because we definitely let some of our social media fall by the wayside.
Check out our Instagram.
Yeah, if you really want to see Drewseum content, go to our website, go to our Instagram at Drewseum.
Yep.
Easy.
Yep.
And
nice
that's
and easy.
Yeah, I guess that's about the story of the website. It's been a cool thing. It's been really fun, and this is really cool to have the latest branch of the Drewseum be a podcast. one more new segment we're going to introduce is called What's New with Drew, where we will talk about what's going on in the last week. Can't use the name Drew's News because she already took that for her talk show. There hasn't been a lot in the last week. I wrote down just like a couple little things, but Flower Films is on Instagram, which is pretty. Does that feel wild to you?
It feels wild, but it also, I was a little bit confused. I didn't remember following the account like a couple months ago. And then when I saw the new post, I was like, oh, cool.
They
like
must have had the account as a placeholder for a long time then.
Or something, because I was already following it. So either way, stoked. I'm happy to see that they're maybe going to post things on there.
I hope that they actually don't just show, here's some screenshots from our movies, which is great. But I mean, we have an amazing flower film section on the Drewseum. There's some cool stuff that they could share. If they want some help, guys, just ring us up.
Yeah, Flower Films people, you know us. You know
but I think that they started because they have a documentary that's out on Netflix called Stay on Board, the Leo Baker story. And I checked the credits, and it looks like the only person who's involved with it is Ember Truesdale. She is a producer of it, and she's been with Flower Films on and off since 2000, according to our Christmas cards. I went back and looked.
Wow.
And she's an executive producer on the Drew Barrymore show. So
cool.
Yeah, awesome for Ember. I definitely want to check it out. Did you watch the trailer?
I did watch the trailer, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I've always kind of loved skateboarding and skateboarders.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm quite excited. I wasn't familiar with Leo Baker, but yeah, I'm quite excited to watch it. I was like, wait, Flower Films produced this? Like,
I know.
Cool. I was stoked, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Okay, we'll have to both watch it soon, and then we'll talk about it on the show.
Cool.
And then the only other thing is that it does look like the Drew Barrymore show has started filming some segments. They're not doing like guests and audience stuff yet, but I saw Pilar, who Drew did Rebel Homemaker with. She just filmed a segment, and she posted a really cute picture of her and Drew. I'll share that. And then they were in Las Vegas, and
oh god,
that sucks. I tried really hard to find out what they were doing. So Drew went to our local news station, News 3, which was cool. And I thought, okay, if they're just filming a bunch of stuff privately, like she said she was interviewing Katy Perry, that's fine. Whatever. That's a bummer they're here and I can't like go see them or anything. But then I saw a picture where they filmed in public, literally right outside, like a foot from where I had just eaten dinner.
No.
Like a couple weeks earlier. Like of all the places, it's in Resorts World, which is huge. There's so many places. It happened to be right in front of that restaurant. I'm like, are you kidding me? I know. So bummed that I missed that. I'm hoping maybe now that we have an established podcast, next time I can show my credentials.
So now we're going to get into the second half of 1998. So make sure you've listened to episode 1 of our podcast.
So you don't think that we completely skipped over The Wedding Singer.
You know what? It's not important at all. I mean,
not a turning point in her career at all.
No, not at all.
We didn't really talk about the fact that it was so successful, by the way. I think we did kind of skip over it, if I'm thinking now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something, well...
We will have an episode where we talk about the movie, but it was a big
we did not talk about the success. Yeah.
It was a big, big deal. And it was, you know what? Gosh, I'm having all these memories now. It was very popular at my high school. Like everybody quoted it. It even got voted favorite movie, and Drew was voted favorite actress, and I think Adam was favorite actor. I'm gonna have to pull out a yearbook and look. But
that's super funny.
Yeah, I feel like it was very in the ether, at least in my high school. Okay.
No, I think that might have been kind of a common experience. I don't know.
All right, we'll save that for the Wedding Singer episode.
Yes.
Let's fast forward to July and August of 1998.
I just want to say I feel like this is probably when I like really was in it
Oh
at this
yeah.
point. And I think that we kind of expressed that a bit, but like this was early fandom for me. I would have been 13 going on 14.
That's
Um
so weird.
and yeah, so some of the stuff we're talking about, especially magazines, are things
Mm-hmm.
that trigger this like early collecting sort
Oh,
of
oh yeah, that
memory for
feeling.
me. Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, but if you know it, you know it.
Yep. Yep.
So this is the time when Ever After is coming out. So man, there was a lot of marketing behind that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you remember the postcards? Of course, why am I saying do you remember? Of
Oh
course you
my
remember. The
God.
postcards
So
that were in the
any
magazines.
Yeah, so anybody who was collecting at that time knows. I don't remember necessarily like seeking out the different ones in magazines, but definitely when I knew that there were like, do you remember looking through magazines for them, or
Yeah.
do you okay?
So earlier, so I guess 2 years earlier when Romeo and Juliet came out, it's the same studio,
Mm,
20th Century
oh,
Fox. They did them too. So I had all the Romeo and Juliet ones. Like I thought they were all up on my walls. And so I was like, I know what this is, and I got to get the full set. And I actually did not. There was one set that I didn't get for years. Like I
was
never
it the
could
red
find.
one?
Yes.
Okay, so I was just going to say, I remember like having the blue one, the green one. So let's just kind of give the audience a little bit of understanding. So magazine, they would put like different sets in different magazines, and it would be like collect them all. And I don't remember if there are 4 or 5. Of course, we can
There's 5
check.
sets, and each
Okay,
set has 2.
okay. So it was sort of like you'd have to go to different. Was it? Do you know which magazines? It was like
I
definitely
mean,
like
17, obviously, for sure.
yes, yes,
Probably Teen, YM,
yes.
all those kinds of magazines.
Yes, and they might have one of the sets.
Yeah, they would just have one.
I
Every
don't know how
magazine had
many
a
if it
different
was
one.
just that 1 month or with like
Yeah,
a 2 month
I think
period.
it
So
was just in August.
and it would be funny to figure out, do we know which magazine the like dark red one was in? Because it's weird that like that
Oh,
we
you know
remember that one
what?
being
I'm
hard.
looking at them. It's not the red one that I didn't have. It was the orange one. I'm
Okay.
looking at them right now. I'm like, oh, I still barely recognize the orange one because I didn't have it.
Are you looking in at the physical copies?
No, I'm looking on our website. You can
Okay.
go to thedrewseum.com/EA for Ever After and see these too.
They're super cool. I mean, at this point, it's something that became common. Like it's
Yeah,
something. Well, I know we briefly mentioned the idea of doubles, and I probably have like several copies of certain ones. Like I feel like the
true.
blue one, I have a
The
lot of
blue
the
one,
green
yeah, that must have
and
been
the
the most
green
common.
one.
You know what though? I'm looking at the orange one right now, the uncommon one, and there's
Yeah.
a like promo picture of her that is definitely abnormal. So these were cool. They were well done. They all
And
had a different thing. Remember, you can. So they all say you can, and then defy,
oh yeah.
rebel, feel, overcome. I'm reading them. I don't have them memorized, by the way. They're just really cool. It's like such a moment in
One other thing
time.
about them, yeah, one other thing about them is when we were talking about kind of movies having been promoted a certain way, I think
Hmm.
this is emblematic of
Yes.
that very
Yes.
much so. Like so having something that you would collect before you've even seen a movie. I
I
mean,
know that is funny.
to be fair, I'm sure these things were out the month that it came out.
Yes.
So, you would have seen it and been really into it, but
Well, I
like,
think it's like the buildup though. I think it no, because I think the
yeah,
movie came out in August and these are August issues, which came out in July, right?
and I just can't really imagine magazines doing that same thing. But
Me
maybe we're wrong.
neither.
Maybe it's one of those things like, but like again,
I don't
it
think
might be
so.
like a very high budget, like
Yes.
I don't know. So it's
Well,
so I don't
now they'd
know.
be spending their budgets on stuff on the website. I mean, on the website, on the internet.
Oh, that's
Right?
true.
Like they're not going to spend their
Yes.
money on postcards to go in magazines that nobody's buying anyway.
I also just I
Different.
love imagining that somebody might they're actual postcards, right?
Yeah.
Like, did people send these? Like that's so
Oh,
cute.
probably. Oh.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay.
Anyway.
Guess what? That wasn't even in our notes, and we just spent 10 minutes of talking about it. Okay, but the whole point was we're talking about the magazines that were coming out around the time of promotion.
Yes.
So
Yes.
17 magazine had beautiful promo pictures from the movie. And you know what?
Yeah.
So, and I'm probably going to butcher her name again, Peggy Serrata. She took those pictures. So I almost
Oh.
wonder if the Teen People ones were done in a similar time frame, you know?
Oh.
Because her face looks
A wig.
very similar.
And they're both, well, one's a wig and one is a
Extensions. Yeah.
yeah. Ooh, I wonder if we could somehow confirm that.
Peggy.
Anyway, that's Peggy, are you listening? Reach out to us. How do
But I
you drew
thought that was
pod at
kind of cool. I'm like,
gmail.com.
wait a minute, she did those pictures. And who knows where the Teen People ones were taken. I looked at them, I was like, is this France? But I can't tell.
Yeah, you can't really tell. Intriguing. That's really
Yeah.
intriguing.
And then Nickelodeon magazine also had a promotional picture on the cover with daisies. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh, so cute.
It was a pretty cute cover. Like kind of for, and it's interesting that those both used like that photo shoot for the cover. And
Yeah.
17 was on the inside. And then Nickelodeon on the inside had like movie stills, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it was like a magazine, and what's funny when I think about that magazine, this is just like like a personal anecdote.
Uh-huh.
The copy I had forever had like one of the pictures cut out of it, and it was like, why is it so hard to get an intact copy of Nickelodeon magazine? Like I think it was like literally years before I had one that was fully intact.
So funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cover right now. It's really cute. They actually showed it in Biorhythm. I remember they like zoom in on. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of magazines that are hard to get later, we mentioned LA Times Mag and USA Weekend kind of both fall into that because literally released for one day in the newspaper.
That's true. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so those
they're both like flimsy paper.
Yep. Very flimsy paper, especially LA Times Mag.
I didn't get that for a long time.
And that one is really a sweet photo shoot.
Yeah, it's really cute.
And I had that one. I had also had a terrible copy of.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just telling you before we recorded that my USA Weekend, I got that like from the newspaper when it came out.
Yep.
And I stapled it to my wall because that was a thing that we did with magazine pages back then. And yeah, I just saw like I just happened to be because I was looking for pictures of myself from 1998 and I saw a picture of my bedroom where that was on the wall and I was like, oh, that like crappy paper, I stapled it to the wall. Like I've definitely replaced that issue since then because it just got destroyed.
Yep. Speaking of things that got destroyed on bedroom walls, because of course I also had plastered walls. Much of my Drew collection was just on the wall, in like probably early 99, maybe a little bit later. And at some point I had my window open and my mom was like watering a plant outside my window and sprayed in my room. And a bunch of my stuff got wet. I'm sure there's still a couple things in my binders
I bet you
that probably
still do have water damage.
But it was just like okay, that was dumb. Like that only was the UV light. Like it's just super funny though. Like we're just like stapling, I mean, this is just like 90s teens, early 2000s teens. We put things on the wall. Like,
yeah, that's
what we did. We weren't thinking about the future.
That's gotta just kill your archivist mind these days.
Yes. Yes. So everyone knows I have a master's degree in library studies now. So I think about this stuff and cringe, but I'm like, it's part of its history.
Yeah.
Like if I have that object, like it has a story. So to be fair,
I used to also glue my magazine pages to printer paper. That was my scrapbook. Like not just clippings, full pages. That's how I like had them, and then I had them in a folder. Oh my gosh!
You know what? They needed to stay in place.
Yeah, we'll have a collecting episode later.
Yes, that would be fun. That would be fun.
So those were the big magazines. I hope we hit them all. And then she also had some TV appearances. Mm-hmm. The Today Show, which isn't a super strong memory for me, except she's holding, I think it's a shark, like a toy shark in the interview. And with no explanation.
I wonder if somebody handed it to her.
It must be because she even like holds it up to the camera with this little like wink, hey, I got the shark. But she never explains herself.
That's so cute. I don't remember that, but I love it so much.
And then we can't remember which Rosie O'Donnell, because she basically went on Rosie every time she promoted something for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have all of my talk show appearances from this era are on one tape. So if it was a talk show appearance, it went on a specific tape. Like other things went on other tapes. I had a whole system. I was really hoping that I had transferred that tape to DVD because a lot of these you can't find on YouTube. At least I haven't been able to, and I look pretty hard. But
And
anyway,
you're a good detective.
I know. I did not have that one transferred, which I really would love to do. So I'm totally working off memory. I don't even remember what she was wearing. The only thing that I think was this appearance that I remember is they did like this craft where they made like birdhouses.
I do remember the craft.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't remember in what format they made the bird. Oh, wait. I am remembering. They used old milk cartons. That's
oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the only thing like memorable part is Drew says, I love perching birdies. We like quote that all the time.
Because I think that they say this is where the bird can perch, and
Yes.
that's her response, and it's
Yes.
so her. It's like, for all of you that have seen it, like you can imagine it, but you can also probably imagine it if you haven't seen it. Like just Drew saying like, I love like, perching birdies.
Of course she said that.
Yep.
And then of course she went on Letterman because that's also what she always used to do for man for years with that one.
Yep.
She's wearing that gray sweater, which I always felt like when Kate Hudson impersonated her on SNL, they were copying this outfit.
Yes. Yes.
I don't remember a ton about this appearance, except I remember she says she's describing the clip they're about to watch, and she says she nails the prince, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" And she's like, "With an apple." Like, I'm sure she was flirting with Dave a lot. I think that was like goes without saying. But man, we gotta refresh our memories on these things. You guys have no idea how much footage we're sitting on VHS tapes. It's like depressing.
Yeah.
I have so much.
And my tapes are in storage right now.
Yeah, mine are basically the same in my garage where I'm sure the Vegas heat is treating them real well. Yep. Okay, let's not think about these things. So then we also have the premiere of Ever After in LA, and Luke Wilson came as her date. We talked in the previous episode how their relationship status is murky at this time. He didn't go with her to anything in the whole year prior to this. Does that seem right?
That sounds right.
Also Courtney Cox and David Arquette came. This was during Never Been Kissed filming, so that makes sense. Plus, you know, they did Scream together. They had like a good friendship. When she got a star on the Walk of Fame, they put an ad out congratulating her, which was really cute.
It's so sweet.
And then you know, some of her co-stars from Ever After, like Dugrey. Actually, that might be from that Letterman episode when she says Dugrey, brilliant.
Yes.
And that's, I guess, it. I mean, Ever After was another huge hit. Now she has 2 gigantic blockbuster major studio movies that came out within a few months of each other.
Yep.
And it's wild because she was not there a few years prior.
Yep.
Just really cool.
It was a huge year for her.
And there was just so much public interest in her at that time. We'd mentioned in the previous episode about how MTV had Biorhythm and E did the celebrity profile. Well, then I remembered that A&E also released Biography, and Fox did this famous families show about the Barrymores, where Jade came on and provided some really cool photos from Drew's childhood.
Yeah.
All of those specials have some really cool photos. I've tried to like gather screenshots over the years of the really rare photos, and they're all horrible quality, but so I mean, that's wild. 4 biography type specials about her in the span of a couple months.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it's just completely makes sense though when we think back to this time and just how much attention was on her.
Yeah. And what a bummer that nowadays, if they did that, they'd be interviewing us for information. We missed our calling.
We can
All
time
right.
travel.
That's true. So we can move on to September and October,
Hmm.
gearing up for Home Fries, which was delayed release because Home Fries filmed at the end of 1996 and it didn't come out
Yep.
for 2 years. So
Yep.
I'm not really sure what the story is there, but definitely I think it was expected to come out previously.
And
Um,
I just get the sense it's like an odd movie. So
yeah,
I think it was hard to market. It's a dark comedy.
yeah,
So it was
absolutely.
probably just I don't really know if was it like an independent film and it was being shopped around. Like I don't
Maybe that would make
so
sense.
it's an odd movie. It doesn't have the same
Mass
like
appeal.
exactly mass
Yep.
appeal as Ever After did or The Wedding
Yeah,
Singer did. But it's really fun. Drew's adorable in
I
it.
like it.
It's a unique movie.
It's actually
Um,
Catherine O'Hara, like now everybody loves her because of Schitt's Creek, but she's really good in that movie. Like really funny and really
I need
crazy.
to rewatch.
I
I need to rewatch
haven't
it.
seen it in years. We'll
Yeah.
definitely do an episode on it. But
Yeah.
before it came out, they took it to the Toronto International Film Festival
Hmm.
and promoted it there. And that's cool. I guess we can't speak to it much.
Yeah.
Um, I do remember, I don't know if it's clips or photos, but I've definitely I got some sort of vibe like her and Luke were like on the rocks at that time, which I don't know how to explain it. uh just a vibe I got. And
was was he there?
yes, yes.
Okay.
And there's like some awkward photos of them,
Okay. So your
But
vibe, I'm sure, it's based on evidence.
yeah, based on evidence, and we know they were pretty on and off for a while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but then I guess Ever After still hadn't come out in Europe. So after she went and did the Home Fries at the film festival, she then went to Europe to promote Ever After.
Oh, and such a beautiful dress. This is like one of
Yes.
my favorite things that I
It
have
really,
clippings of.
yes, I know. Why are those
And
clippings so special? So we're
you know what?
talking
I think
about the gala in Florence, Italy that they had for Ever After. And she's wearing that dress that was made out of like 100 scarves.
yep.
And she's also wearing the glass slippers from the movie. And
Oh, I forgot about that. But
yeah.
the like I think she just looks like she's glowing.
Yes.
Like she just looks
And she
really
usually doesn't look like that.
and she looks for some
More
reason
than normal.
particularly it
Yes.
also might be, and this is kind of like we talked about in style doing features. I think they had
Yes.
a feature on
They
this, and I
did.
think that's
Yeah.
one reason why like maybe those pictures are so good that my memory, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm sure it's a variety of things, but it's just it's like one of my favorite looks.
She just looks so lovely and
Yep.
like it just was a special night for her. You can tell.
Yep.
Oh, I'm looking at some of the pictures right now. And there's cute pictures of her dancing like at the
Yeah, and
party.
the dress is really special. Like I'm pretty sure it was like completely unique,
Oh
made for
yeah.
her.
I think it was handmade, one of a
Yep.
kind. It's very, very cool.
It's really cool. A couple other events I don't know if you want to kind of speak to like Las Vegas related events.
Yeah, well, so she and Edward Norton came to the opening of the Bellagio Hotel, and that like made me insane because this was the first time she came to Vegas, like when I was a huge fan. So like I certainly didn't know about when it was happening.
Yeah.
There was like one small clipping printed maybe in like Vanity Fair or something random like that. And I was also like getting pretty into Edward Norton at that time. So I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so crazy.
Yeah. And speaking of Edward Norton, she
Yeah,
went to the premiere of his movie American History X,
that's true.
where she it seems to have either encountered or gone with Eric
No,
Erlandson.
I'm sure it was an encountered. Yeah, there's pictures of her with her ex Eric from Hole. And gosh, I don't think we ever saw them together again until remember they went to that I feel like it was an art event of some sort.
When you started to speak, I was thinking it was maybe like a Shepherd Ferry thing.
Oh,
Or is it
maybe.
something else? Are you thinking of like something like in the last 10 years?
Yeah, it was in 2011, I believe. She has her hair up in a bun, which is kind of unusual for her, and she's like dancing. And anyway, he was there, and there's a picture of them together, and there's just something really cute
So
about that.
cute. Yeah.
Um, yeah, she was hanging out with Edward Norton. A lot of people assume that they dated. That was like misreported all the time because they went together to the Oscars in 99.
Yep.
And as far as we know, and as far as they ever claimed, they were just friends. Like they had an apartment together in New York when they did Everyone Says
Yep.
I Love You.
Yep.
But, and I don't know if I ever told you this, on her show, somebody asked her a question about like dating a friend. And
Okay.
she told this anecdote that I feel like is about him.
Okay. What was
Where
the
basically,
anecdote?
like, oh, we were always just friends. And then, like, we were best friends and we never dated. It was never like that. And then one night, something changed and we hooked up. And then it was weird afterward. And I don't know, for some reason, the way she described it, I was like, she's talking about Edward Norton.
Hmm.
I know. Because they
I
were
could see
really
that being true.
close. Like,
Yep.
doing a lot together. He went on SNL when she hosted, and then it was like, then they never saw each other again.
Interesting.
Anyway, I'm not trying to start rumors or anything, but
You're going to be
she told the
quoted.
story.
You're going to be quoted
I know.
in the National Enquirer about
Yeah,
this.
something horrible. Or like, hello, for some reason, their website, I get news alerts and they're like the worst, stupidest stories ever. Drew Barrymore's fans are losing their mind over this thing she posted. I'm like, no, no one's losing their mind over that. Anyway. And then that same time we had Premiere magazine, which was a great one.
Yep, that's a really wonderful. I have good memories of like those images, and
Yeah,
there's a really
Flossie's in that big like
yeah,
2-page spread, and
yeah.
they're just sweet. Like they're not like especially unique,
They're
but
just sweet. They're just sweet,
they're
and they
just sweet.
feel. And this isn't like to try to say pure is good, but like they feel pure somehow. Like
Yeah,
they
maybe because
and
she's like making little angel hands in one of them.
don't remember that, but it works.
Well, I'm gonna include it in the episode gallery now.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that takes us to the final end of the year, November and December. And this is when Home Fries is actually coming out in America.
Mm-hmm.
So she went on Rosie O'Donnell again.
Mm-hmm.
All I really remember is that she brought Flossie, and I remember like Flossie's like laying on the stage, and they were like the audience was trying to like not be too loud and scare Flossie.
Yeah.
It's like cute.
I vaguely remember this.
And that like I don't remember what Drew was wearing, but I do remember her and Rosie sing this song for Thanksgiving where it's to the tune of My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music. And the like premise of the song is how Drew's a vegetarian, so she enjoys different things at Thanksgiving. So like Drew's like, mine's nutritious, and Rosie's like, mine's delicious. It's like some reason it sticks in my head really well.
We need to get that digitized and
I
up.
know.
It's
Man,
vital.
this is a good like motivation to do that. And then when she goes on Letterman, this one I have very clear memories of because I think it stands out for me as one of the best times she appeared on there.
Oh,
So she's wearing that, we don't even have photos, but she's wearing that low cut blue floral dress. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
So this is like when she's like peak flirting with him, like more than when she flashed him. Like she is like flirting hardcore with him. And he comments about the dress at one point and he says like, are you just like about to fall out of that thing?
Yes, because
really
her bra
low.
is showing.
Yeah, her bra
and
showing.
her bra is showing.
And she
I
says,
just remembered that.
I hope you know it's with great purpose.
Yes. Yes. I do remember this.
And then so
that.
she must have been in New York with Flossie, obviously, because she brought her on Rosie. And she wants to show that she has what did they call him? Stupid pet tricks?
I don't remember. I
It
do
was like
remember
a
the
thing he
trick, but I
did.
don't remember like the segment.
Yeah. So like they're getting ready to end her part, and she's like, wait, I do a trick with my dog Flossie, and they're like, we don't have time, and then Letterman's like, I don't care, roll it.
That's right.
And so I was looking for this on YouTube like a few months ago because I was trying to find the part with Flossie, and I could not find it, and I was looking through all kinds of stuff.
But I can picture it. Like she's wearing, isn't she wearing a little like cowboy hat?
Yes.
And there's like, is there a scarf on Flossie or something? Like,
I think so. And yep, and they're in a hallway. So the reason I was looking at it was because they're clearly in the hallway at CBS, which is where she films her show. And so I wanted to see, like, what if it was the same hallway? Like, just one of those weird things I was like thinking about. Anyway, we'll find it. I found like a horrible quality part of it because Missy had that part in her wildflower video that she made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not good enough quality to be able to tell about the hallway.
Okay.
It's probably not the same hallway, but anyway, we should explain what the trick is.
If you remember, all I remember is the bang.
Yeah. So she's like, Flossie's supposed to be like an outlaw, and she's like a sheriff. And she shoots Flossie with a fake gun, and Flossie falls down on the ground. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Gets little
and
belly
rolls on their back. It's really sweet. Flossie.
Oh, yeah. Man, just some good appearances back then. And then the year was rounding down. Like we had our last major magazine. So when we're saying magazines, we're talking about like magazines that specifically did photo shoots that were brand new, that put her on the cover and had a whole full feature. There are like dozens and dozens and dozens of other magazines that year that she was in some capacity.
Yeah.
But we can't even begin to list those. We have a section on our website for that.
I guess we can also kind of, just to make it clear about what a clipping is. I mean, just in case people don't know what that means.
Oh, that's so weird.
I mean, a clipping to me is generally like a less than a page image that's clipped out of a magazine or newspaper or some other.
There you go. You nailed it. Exactly.
But I also would call a package of clippings something that might include a full feature, or it would include a full page.
True.
But usually when we say, oh, there was a clipping of that, it was probably an image that was in a magazine that's less than a page in size.
And that could be like thumbnail size. It could be like 3/4 of a page.
Literally. And actually, just a little like Easter egg for you all. There's a photo that Ashley posted of me from 1998 on our website in the last episode. And on my computer screen, there are 2 pictures of Drew stuck to the computer.
Thought so.
Yeah. One of them is from the movie line 98. It's like literally less than an inch circular.
Wait, I had that movie line 98 small one in my diary. If it's the same picture.
There you go.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
It's probably, I'm guessing it might have was the beginning of the magazine.
Yeah, like in the contents.
Yeah, but it's just funny because it's like we saved everything.
I mean,
if her name was mentioned in a little piece of something.
I have an entire Ziploc bag full of clippings with just text, with like no photos.
Yeah, just her name.
What am I ever going to do with those?
Yes, because would you clip them off of the clipping?
No, it was like if her name was just mentioned in something. Oh,
because she was attached. She was attached to a movie, or she was spotted somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's just a whole thing about magazines. Like, yeah, when we're generally talking about these features, it's the cover feature for the most part.
And like a brand new photo shoot was done for it. Like, we're not talking about like some foreign magazine that reprinted a photo shoot from 5 years earlier, because that happens all the time too. So Us Magazine, before it was Us Weekly, which is a totally different thing than what it is now, is not at all what it was then. It was same publishers as Rolling Stone.
Yep.
And just a really cool monthly entertainment magazine that always had amazing photo shoots. Mark Seliger did shoots for them all the time. Mm-hmm. And so she was on the cover of the November issue in that another gray sweater.
Do you know who did this? Period. Who did this shoot?
Not off the top of my head, but now I'm gonna have to go look because I don't want to have to come back in the next episode.
Check the archives.
I feel like it's John something. Oh, Mark Baptiste. Not super familiar.
Mark Baptiste, I believe, did a couple other things with her. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
We'd have to consult our photo shoot spreadsheet.
Yes.
We have a photo shoot spreadsheet.
Yes, that Ashley put together.
But yeah, it's so cute. She like I love the ones that were hanging from the playground like rings. You
Yep.
know those rings? They're
Yep.
cute. And like some of
Yep.
those pictures were used later in like future magazines. Like I feel like 17 used one of them at some point. Anyway, it's just
They
funny
had
how
one of
those
these on a
happen.
cover, I believe.
Teen definitely had one of these on the cover. I'm thinking of
Okay.
one where she's in like it almost looks like a fair ride. It's like yellow or something. I'm not describing this well.
I'm blanking on it, but maybe we'll find it and it'll be added to the episode.
Yeah, there you go. And then the last thing that's really notable was that she showed up to the Billboard Music Awards to introduce Hole, who were performing. And for reasons unbeknownst to us, she's wearing a random black wig.
Because why not?
I don't know.
And speaking of clippings, like one of the ones I remember from that is she's just with Cher for some reason.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like she literally just walks out and says like, my friend's Hole, and that's it. And she's wearing a black wig, and everyone's probably like, why is Drew Barrymore wearing a black wig?
Or like, who is that?
Yeah.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Like I'm trying to think of a reason her hair would have been weird. Like I think she was probably done filming Never Been Kissed by this time. I am truly at a blank. I have
Maybe
no
just
idea.
for fun.
Yeah, I guess she did used to do things like that with her hair or wigs. I mean, she wore that wig to the MTV VMAs in 1995. But that's because that like made that whole look. Like the black wig is just a little more, okay. But fun. I mean, I wouldn't mind if she would switch up her hair these days more often, but she's done with that.
Drew, give us a reason to update the hairstyle timeline and the wigging out timeline. Like,
oh, we definitely need to update the wigging out timeline. It's like way because of her show. She's had so many wigs on her show.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like the what's the name of the character that's like, is it Mitzi?
Mitzi Banana Moore. I wasn't even thinking of that one. I was thinking like when she had the Wizard of Oz Glinda costume.
Oh, of course.
She wore a ton of wigs in their last Halloween episode where they did the different decades. Yeah.
Yep.
We're way behind on the wigs, but hey, it's okay. Sometimes I feel like our website more like encapsulates a different era than necessarily present day.
You know what? If you really want us to update the wig timeline, shoot us a line. We need to hear from our beloved fans about what they want.
It's true. Honestly, thank you guys all for tuning in. We would really, really appreciate if you could rate, review, and subscribe. We know every podcast says that, but I think the more ratings and reviews and subscribers that we get, the more featured we can be, the more likely that we can do all kinds of fun stuff with you guys. So just if you have a moment, just go do it real fast. And then be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at How Do You Drew Pod.
And we've said it like 2 or 3 times, but I'll go ahead and say it again. Send listener mail to howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com, and we'll see you next Drew's Day.
Woohoo! Bye, guys. Thank you.
How Do You Drew podcast is brought to you by Ashley and Anne from the Drewseum.com. Our theme song is by our dear friend Matt Costa. Thank you for listening and see you next time.